Okay, so welcome to the special edition episode of the Amateur Bowl podcast with Simon and Max. We have a very special treat for you today, where we're going to be talking about the all-decade bus team. It's
Oh
going to
yeah.
be this is a list
Buckle in,
that
guys.
this is a list that I have constructed, and I think I did a pretty good job. Not to pump my own tires, but I think it's a very good team. So we're just gonna
Yeah.
we're not doing any gone but not forgotten today. We're just jumping right into the content, right into the good stuff. So we just to keep it nice and short today. So
Get ready to pull your hamstrings and take your knees out because we're into the bus today. Let's
yep,
go.
get ready to cringe at all these horrible draft picks.
Oh boy, here we go.
So at quarterback we have Johnny Manziel,
Money.
who's drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Our two wide receivers are Justin Blackman, who was drafted by the Jags, and AJ Jenkins, who was drafted by the Steelers. Max, do you know how many catches AJ Jenkins had at the during his career?
No, I actually don't. But let me guess. I'm gonna guess about 15.
You're close, except you're giving him too little credit. He finished with 17 catches.
Oh, all right. I was close.
Now, do you remember how many? Do you know how many touchdowns he had in his career?
17 catches. I'm gonna guess 1 touchdown.
He had 0. He had a goose for his career.
Oh, come on.
Anyways, just not a very good career for someone who was. I mean, albeit he was drafted late in the first round, but even then, for a first-round wide receiver, that's not good. To have no touchdowns in your career, that's pretty bad.
That's a shame.
At running back, we have Trent Richardson, who was drafted by the Cleveland Browns. Pretty self-explanatory there, if you know. Yeah, exactly. You can tell by
the Ravens fan in me is loving this. 2 Browns and the Steelers in the first 4 picks.
Yep. So, yeah, just another guy who didn't pan out. He was supposed to be good, but he didn't, frankly. CJ Spiller, drafted by the Bills. Jason Morrow, tight end. Jason Morrow, tight end, was drafted by the Jets. Just a quick note on Jason Morrow. Another guy who got hurt. There's a couple tight ends I could have gone with, except I just thought that he was probably the best one to go with because if you look up his numbers, he was very underwhelming for a tight end who was supposed to be very good coming into the league.
Yeah. Another note on Jason Morrow. Another big white guy at tight end. Who would have thought?
That's right. Jonathan Cooper, initially drafted by the Cardinals, also voted biggest Cardinal bust ever by USA Today. So congratulations to Jonathan Cooper. That's an accomplishment. Yeah. Chance Warmack. So Jonathan Cooper and Warmack are my guards. Cooper was drafted by the Cardinals. Chance Warmack was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. And then with my offensive tackles and center, I actually have 3 offensive tackles with Greg Robinson, who was drafted by the Rams, Eric Flowers, who was drafted by the Giants, and Luke Joeckel, who was drafted by the Jags.
Joeckel.
So Eric Flowers, just to quickly summarize Eric Flowers, he was a pylon. He wasn't very good. He was constantly getting turnstiled and just wasn't what you needed with an offensive lineman.
Yeah, pylon is a great way to put it. Really great way to put it.
That, and he just had a really negative attitude. So as you can imagine, just those 2 things don't go very well together. If you suck at your position and you each have a really bad attitude. And Luke Joeckel is another guy. Highly touted offensive tackle prospect coming into the draft. He was probably one of the most athletic prospects in the draft. However, he just couldn't stay healthy, and he was never the same after he injured his ankle and blew out his knee. I hope he can find his way back to his status, but as of right now, he looks like he's going to be a bust. No question about it.
Yep. Second overall pick.
Overall pick. That's exactly it. That's just you. So let's click on my offense. Again, very coming out of college, all these guys were a very exciting group of prospects, except they could not make the transition to the NFL as smoothly as people thought they were going to.
And another note about Greg Robinson, the Browns had him starting last year. Yeah, I watched some of their games. It was honestly pitiful watching him try to block good run, trying to get good defensive ends to stop hitting Baker Mayfield.
So,
that was fun. Now they got Jack Conklin, so good replacement. But man, Greg Robinson.
Yeah, it's not bad. So I'm just gonna quickly run you through my defense quickly. Okay, my defensive line consists of Dion Jordan, third overall draft pick by the Miami Dolphins. Solomon Thomas, who was drafted third overall to the Niners. Marcus Smith, drafted by the Eagles. Vernon Butler, drafted by the Panthers. My linebackers are, this one hurts me to say, Ronaldo McClain, drafted 8th overall by the Oakland Raiders at the time.
Wait, when were the Raiders in Oakland? Were they? Why were they in Oakland?
Yeah.
Jeez, far cry from Vegas.
That's a question I constantly ask myself. Why were they ever in Oakland? That's a great question. My favorite linebacker on this team is Barkevious Mingo. Now, you might ask why he's my favorite on this list, and I was having a thought when I was putting this list together. His last name is Barkevious. His last name is Mingo, and I always wondered when his parents were coming up with a name for him. What do you think the odds are that they came up with the name Fla? So people would be like, on draft day, the team would select and would have been, we select linebacker Flamingo.
Jeez, I hope he didn't have a middle name. Man. Mingo is a good start. And then I don't know where Barkevious comes from. Is that like a family name? Like they came from England in the 1500s? Yeah. Sir Barkevious of Old Trafford? I don't fucking know. But man, great. Man, yeah. No, sounds like someone that the Mountain killed in Game of Thrones. Honestly, yeah. No, that's probably by far the best name on this list and on the list that I created. So
Darth
Barkevious. Shout out to Barkevious Mingo's parents.
Yeah. He had a great name, but he did not have a very good career. 6th overall to the Browns. If you're noticing a trend on here, there are a lot of Cleveland Browns on this list. Like a lot of them.
Oh, I love this. This is so much fun.
The first round curse.
I'm glad we did this.
Yes, of course you are. And then my final linebacker on this team is Bjorn Werner. Who was drafted by the Colts.
Okay.
And then quickly, just to go through my cornerbacks and safeties, we have Justin Gilbert, again, who was drafted by the Browns.
Oh, man. We should have a Browns counter on the top corner.
D. Milner to the Jets is my other cornerback. And then my safeties are Mark Barron, drafted by the Bucks, and Matt Elam, who was drafted by the Ravens. Our favorite pick.
I'm sorry, what now?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
Oh. No, I guess you can't get everything right.
He was supposed to be the heir to Ed Reed, who he wasn't. He was very not. He was not chief. He was not what they needed at all. Like
lofty expectations for a guy coming out of the draft, but it's sad.
And just to quickly wrap things, just the last position I have here before we can kind of do our just overall thoughts on this team is I actually have a kicker on my roster, and this kicker was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So it was drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. In the second round.
Oh no! Jesus Christ!
For those of you who aren't really familiar with how what positions get drafted where in the NFL draft, you don't kick your second round. You do not.
Nope. Unless you're the Browns. But the Browns actually haven't done that.
And you don't do it, especially if you're going to trade up to get said pick. The Tampa Bay
Jeez, they
Buccaneers,
traded up.
yeah, the
Oh my
Tampa Bay
god.
Buccaneers, I believe, traded a third and a fourth to move up to the draft a really solid kicker coming out of college, um, Roberto Aguayo.
Oh, that
Um,
guy.
this kicker, Aguayo, set the NCAA record for accuracy. So pretty good. Like he was really highly touted coming out of college. Like this is a guy that I think a lot of people wanted in the draft, but just didn't want to take him second overall, which is understandable and respectable. But the Bucks said, "Nah, bro, we want him right now," and decided to trade up
We
some
want our
assets.
next. We want our Justin Tucker. We want our
And
Justin Tucker.
I'm so glad you mentioned Justin Tucker because he was not Justin Tucker at all. Um,
Nobody
but
is.
in his first season, he missed nine field goal attempts and two extra point attempts.
Jeez.
Not very good
And
at
that was
all.
back when the extra point was on like the 3 yard line, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yes.
Oh shit. Oh
Um.
no.
So just not again. It's not his fault that again. It's none of these guys. It's not all these guys' fault that they were busts. Injuries happen, and sometimes you just can't come back from that. But overall, this team, if you this is a team you would hope to play if you were an NFL team for sure. That's no question about it.
Yep, I can see that. I can see that very very well. Especially with Money Manziel at quarterback. I disagree with the Browns taking Trent Richardson with the third overall pick. I don't care how good he is in college. I don't. I'm sorry. Third overall. No, sorry, no, don't do it.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
yeah, and I know Justin Blackman is a bust, but I've watched games of his 2013 season or his rookie season, and dude
Yep.
looked good. I don't really know what happened to him, but the dude could run, the dude could catch pretty well, and he had pretty bad quarterback play, all things considered. So, it's kind of rough that it ended up that way.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned poor quarterback play, but Max, can you do me a favor and mention an above average quarterback the Jacksonville Jaguars have had in the past? We'll say since Justin Blackman since Justin Blackman was drafted, so 2013.
Nope, can't
Yeah, I
can't.
see that. I think that's part of it, but um, he was, as you mentioned, I think he had a very he showed flashes of brilliance, but he just didn't really pan out to the fifth overall profile, which I mean it happens. And a lot of the times with college players is that again I think Justin Blackman is actually one of the most athletic players coming out of the draft, which is why at least to me it was very surprising to see him tank as much as he did as a prospect. But uh yeah, a lot of players just can't really make the transition from college to the NFL. I think I believe that's what happened with Justin Blackman. But again, there's a lot of things that really go into becoming a bust, whether it's injuries, mental stuff, there's a whole spectrum of things that could go wrong.
Yeah, exactly. And final player that kind of stands out to me is Justin Gilbert. Dude had chances, had even more chances, and he just couldn't stay on the field.
Yeah, whose pictures does he have to get that many chances? That's absurd.
It's because the Browns really didn't have anybody else there.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll give
Yeah.
you that. That's fair.
And also the Steelers gave him a chance too, and that didn't even pan out. Steelers.
Oh, good.
Yeah, agreed.
Um, and just to quickly touch on Jason Morrow, there are a couple of guys that my honorable mention for my tight end position was going to be is Heath Miller. Heath Miller was a fan favorite tight end in Pittsburgh, but I believe he was a first round pick by the Steelers. If not first, he was an early round draft pick, and I think at the time people had really high expectations for this guy. He was on the Steelers team that did win the Super Bowl. However, he did not. If you go back and look at his stats, he was very disappointing on offense. He was just not the guy that the Steelers hoping he would turn out to be. And again, I can't remember who else was on the Steelers that year, except the year they won the Super Bowl. The Steelers had, I think, two other really good tight end options to help balance out the fact that Heath Miller just wasn't producing that much on offense. So again, Heath Miller is my honorable mention. I think he would be almost as equally as deserving as the starting position on my all bust team for the 2010s.
Go Steelers.
Yeah.
Yeah, dumbasses. Anyways,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So before we kind of talk for too long, that's the all decade bust team. And coming up next.
That was a bad team. That's a bad team.
Yeah. And coming up next is another special treat for you, is the all decade meme team, which is produced by Max.
Oh, yeah, you do not want to miss that. It's going to be great.
We will see you shortly. Enjoy.
Great. Thank you for watching.
Yes, always. Have a good quarantine. Enjoy.